Hello there. Welcome to the Word Cafe podcast. This podcast has been designed with created content that centers on the power of words. Can we really do anything without speaking? Can we really do anything without the agency of words? Yes, that is what this podcast is all about. And I am your host, Amachree Isoboye, your neighborhood word trader. I believe in the power of words, for it is the unit of creation. I trade in words to profit my world. Hello there, how are we all doing? Okay, today I'm not going to scream the way I usually do that for obvious reasons. I want to be calm today because I have this amazing personality on the show, but I'm still going to ask you that question. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you all doing? I'm not asking this rhetorically. I'm asking because I care. I'm doing well where I am, yes, in the city of Abuja. So I have this amazing personality. The first time I came across her, I was like, I didn't know where to place her, but listening to her over and over and over again, I see that there's more. When you see a book, don't just look at the book, open the pages and you will see a lot. She's an amazing personality. She describes herself as a warrior. And she will tell us why she calls herself that when I bring her on. I know you want to see her. Her name is Rantiade. That's the way she describes herself. And when she comes, you see the face of the camera. Okay, where is she? Where is she? And there she is. How you doing?
I am very well. I'm very well. Everything is as it should be. All is well.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to the Word Cafe podcast. It's an honor having you here.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Like I was before I brought you on, I was telling my audience the wonderful personality you are. I know the first thing having to you, I think it was Instagram it was on Instagram. And I looked at the person talking, not the name, but the person. And her voice does not look like her face, if you understand what I mean by that,
Really?
And I took my time and listening over and over again, and it's like, there's so much about this personality, and you've blessed me in so many ways, and I know those who listen to you, they are blessed. Like you always say, this is my word for you, do with it as you please. That's the way you always end your thoughts, and so I will go on. So welcome to the show. So let's get to meet you. Who is this wonderful personality, Rantiade?
Wow. I used to describe myself as a troublemaker before, and that was based on inaccurate labeling, I would say. So I was one of these. I was a child who was very present in the present, and was had a lot of curiosity, about me, and I would ask a lot of questions, and I think that then garnered a reputation as a troublemaker, as somebody who was always, putting their neck where the neck was not supposed to be, kind of thing. And but as I got older and I settled more within myself, my soul, my spirit, I realized that what I was really seeking was peace. And regardless of when I found myself in situations where that was not the status quo, which is what it's intended to be, I would stir up what people describe as trouble. And so I have alleviated myself of that label now, and so I refer to myself as a peacemaking light worker because I am light. So that's how I would describe myself.
Amazing. The first time I saw you, I went searching, reading about you. And I discovered you're into this space where you kind of give voice to those who don't have voice when it comes to trafficking and all that. And I was like, okay, what really drove you into that space?
Okay, so I think the first thing I just want to clarify is that everyone that we work with, everyone that we partner with, does have a voice, right? So there's no such thing as voiceless or
Voiceless.
yes. I think that there's some people in society whose voices have been muted, in
Okay.
many ways, or whose voices have been totally obliterated in many ways. But that because we are divinity, because we come from the divine, right? There is no way to eliminate a voice, and so my role is really to amplify the voices. So when people say you're a voice for the voiceless, I'm like, no, my voice, I'm just a loudspeaker. I'm a loudspeaker, you know. And so I got into it because, and the way that feels most authentic to my spirit and my soul is that this is what I was called to do. It's a mission for me, and it was something that I really wasn't. My life would not have had a sense of fulfillment had I not gone down this path, right? And I would have been doing a disservice to my own voice had I not followed the leading of the Spirit to embark on the work that I'm doing now. And so, there were many different cues and hints and confirmations, and in Christian circles they would say prophetic words, they would say declarations that really just confirmed that this was the path that I was intended to be on. But I would say that the most compelling thing that really ensured that I got on this path was just the confirmation in my own spirit by the Spirit of God. So it's my life's work. It's a call.
Yeah. And I see your background is in law. You studied law in school, and somehow it's coming full force in what you do. Correct?
Yes. Yeah. So, I'm one of these people that I don't believe that any experience is ever wasted. I believe that everything that happens in our life is all part of a divine journey, right? Including detours, which I see as, as also divine as well. And so, I was a partner at my law firm. I practiced in corporate America for about 13 years. Before I segued into what it is that my life had been beckoning for me to do for quite some time. And so all of that experience, my managerial skills, because I was managing one of our satellite offices. I was getting a lot of experience in training other lawyers on how to be better lawyers. My negotiation skills, my reasoning, my writing skills, all of those things were transported with me and have become transmuted into the work that I'm currently doing.
It's beautiful. I like that way you say that nothing is wasted, because sometimes we say that, I did this in school, I did that, or whatever. It's a waste. But somehow all of this coming together to propel your personality, it speaks for you. So what has it been like for you, as in within this space, for the past, for the time you've been doing it? What has it been like?
With the trafficking work, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
With the trafficking work.
Yeah. I would say that it's certainly been challenging but challenging not necessarily in a bad way, because I think that word tends to have a negative connotation to it. But when you are in a space that is unfamiliar to you, right, you have generally have two options. You either move head on, or you cower back or you shrink back away from the challenge. And I think with my pedigree and the ancestors that are backing me, there was no option but to move forward. And my name, the nickname that my father, the late Benson Idahosa, gave me, he started calling me Pathfinder from when I was 9. And so I think that's indicative a lot of my personality. And, there is a way. You must make a way out of no way. I mean, because we are divinity and we are divine, we get to create as God. And so when you find yourself in a space where things are unfamiliar, the path is always forward, right? Unless you're in a temporary hold for learning. And so it's been challenging in the sense that it's pushed me to develop other aspects of my own skills and to grow in areas. But I think the most instrumental difference that I certainly would describe is how enlarged my heart has become. The level of compassion that I've been able to hold and embrace, and also convey to other people who are not necessarily related to me, but simply because they are an extension of the grace, the mercy, and the divinity of God. I'm able to recognize my connectedness to all that is, and as a result of that, I would say, my heart is certainly the part that I would say has been stretched in the most beautiful and divine way.
Beautiful. I mean, the way you describe that divinity, embracing divinity, and somebody will hear you first and we're like, what does she mean by that? But I enjoy it. You recognizing that you are divinity and connecting with it. It speaks volume. So I saw you during the warfare when you called you off stage, and I was really surprised. To say the least, I was really surprised. But when you came off stage, what you talked about was more of I wouldn't call it ancient and modern, but you delivered it in such a way that the younger generation could relate with it, at the same time, the older generation too. But this is my question here. With what we are seeing happening in our country today and what you spoke about that day, what do you see for the future as a Nigeria, speaking about Nigeria now, based on what you shared that day?
Yeah, I believe God has called me for such a time as this to be a bridge, right, between ancient wisdom and new thought and the move of what the Spirit of God is doing. And so I think when you look at Nigeria through eyes of humanity, right, there's certainly aspects of it that make you want to question, right? You want to question your own sanity, right?
True. True.
But that's why you have to move through the world through a lens of divinity. You have to be able to understand that there is purpose in everything. That everything that happens to you happens for a reason. The current state of the country is as a result of our collective consciousness, or better said, our collective unconsciousness, right? Moving through the world in a manner that operates at a level where the average Nigerian is really just trying to survive, right? And when you're in that survival mode, there's no space to really recognize, right, the level of divinity that you have that results in transformation of the country. And so that is part of why I feel that God has called me to be that bridge, in many ways, to help people awaken to their divinity. Because it's once people come alive, once people understand that they have the power within themselves to be able to change, transform, reverse if they need to, speak by your words, life into your current circumstances, is really where the transformation will start to take place in Nigeria. And so that is what I feel is a missing aspect of the country, and which I hope, which I believe that is the aspect that my voice will be able to contribute to, be able to move us forward.
Now, I've seen you as in your space. I see the people around your space, people you collaborate with, and people who gravitate towards you. Minds like Dr. Foy, what was his name? I forget
Bankole
his name.
Williams.
Bankole Williams, thank you. And
Yeah.
I tell myself, I'm not surprised because these people, they think like you know. Now, my question here now is, how do you create, because you talked about collective consciousness now, how do we build that critical mass? How? Based on this collective consciousness and moving our nation forward.
Yeah, well, that's the task, right? That's the challenge, because the overwhelming majority of people are not in that space yet because of the reality and the economic downturn and just the day-to-day systemic injustice, right, that has been accepted in or that's been forced upon the overwhelming majority. And so I think one of the ways is that for those of us who have the platforms, through, for example, in this space, through your podcast, everybody has to understand that we are collectively creating the Nigeria that we see. Right. And so those of us who have the platforms, whether it's through your social media, whether it's through your pulpits, whether if you're an imam at a mosque, whether you have whether you're a teacher at a school, those of us who have the platforms to influence, right, which is to inspire others to be more of themselves, right? Not to be more like you, but to be more of themselves. If you have the platform to be able to do that, that's where those voices have to start essentially proliferating the space, right? Because there has to be a counter to what has been accepted as the norm. What we see in Nigeria is not the intention. This was not what the source, the universe, God intended. It has been hijacked, in many ways. And so the first step, I think, is for those of us who have the platforms, who are awakening to our own divinity, to start to utilize those platforms in a way that will ensure that more people are also receiving the message and understanding who they are.
Beautiful. Now, I see you look like someone who writes a lot, who processes a lot. And I noticed it's like you write your thoughts and you read your thoughts at the same time. Because a couple of times I see you, and I'm like, how does she do that? Because your thoughts are written down, and actually you read them and you flow with them. Tell me, how do you get to do that?
Well, here's the secret. The truth of the matter is that your entire life is a reflection of your thoughts. It's a reflection of your thoughts, right? So everything that you think, translates into your words, and that then essentially translates into your beliefs, and your beliefs translate into your reality, right? And so I can look at you and say, you know what, this life that you are living, it clearly came from what you've been thinking, and but I think that's one aspect of it. But the other aspect too is that it's a gift. God has given me, the same way that my skin is beautifully brown. There are many people who are gifted in other things, like mathematics, for example, was not quite my gifting. I still count on my fingers. I'm not the accountant in the office, but I have the wisdom to hire somebody that can help me make up that gap. But I know the things that I've been gifted in. I know the things that I have an ability in, right? So a lot of what I would say is that some of it is definitely the divine flowing through me. But in addition to that, you have to put in the work, right? So just because you're gifted, hard work will outwork somebody who's just talented, who's relying just on their talent any day. And so when you combine hard work plus natural gifting and talent is where you will excel. And so I would say it's a combination of all of those things. The fact that my thoughts are focused on positivity, are focused on ensuring that the understanding that what I think is so powerful that it will reflect in my life, right? The fact that I'm conscious about those thoughts is one aspect of it. The fact that I'm also gifted is another aspect of it, and then the fact that I'm intentional in growing my gift is the third aspect of it.
Beautiful. Now, I'm going to ask you about the last question of this, and maybe piggyback on how you unwind and all of that. We are always fascinated when we go down memory lane or history, and we come upon your legacy or your father's legacy. I beg your pardon. We read about it. And the first time I came upon it, that was, I think, in my SS1 or so, Fire in His Bones. And read about it. My late dad, whenever he talks about your dad, you see this energy that comes alive in him. So it's like, I try to imagine people who were very close to him in terms of proximity. What was it like seeing him every day? Wake up in the morning, like normal. What was it like?
It was very normal. I think a lot of people are expecting me to say that he was levitating around the house, constantly speaking in tongues, raising people from the dead, in this alternate reality. But my father was definitely somebody who understood his divinity. He understood who he was and his connection. He was someone who I describe as having made conscious contact with the divine, and so that aspect of his life was certainly very very clear, right, for all to see. But on a day-to-day level, he was a human being, and I think a lot of people are sometimes disappointed when I tell them that he had his own issues that he was dealing with, but he was also a very intentional and loving father. I mean, he was somebody who ensured that his children had everything that they needed. And I appreciate this aspect of him, that he didn't raise us with a sense of entitlement to anything. If you liked his car, then look, I will give you the education. I'll put you in a position to be able to get the tools to be able to get your own car. But this one that you're looking at, this one is mine. And I appreciated that gift, that he gave to his children, because we didn't grow up with this sense of entitlement to anything. We knew we had to work hard to be able to achieve our own successes that would stand completely independent of his, right? And so I would say that, I like to say that my dad was not somebody that anybody would meet. Anybody that came into the presence of my dad experienced him. My father was an experience because he was such a powerful presence because of that conscious contact that I referenced that he had made with with his divinity.
Amazing. I like that simplicity, like the way you put it. And obviously, in one meeting, like you said, meditating around the house, speaking in tongues or whatever, but it's just like any of us. Embracing his divinity, knowing that this is who I am and this is what I've been created for. Such a powerful, would I say, approach to life. Mm-hmm. So how do you unwind? You appear to be somebody who is very busy, going around things and all of that. How do you rest? How do you?
Yes, I am busy, but just as important to me is self-care, because I recognize that the more busy I am, the less I show up for myself. And I'm not, unfortunately, my father passed away when he was 59. It was obviously, I'm sure that was the divine call for his life at that time. But I recognize too the level of busyness that he had, and I don't want that for myself. Like as much as it was impactful for the world, and there are many people that encountered God through his ministry. But I recognize for myself that for me to be the best of all that God intended, I have to take care of myself. And so I exercise. I'm very intentional about meditation. That is something that I do every single day, because that's the way that my spirit man connects to my humanity, and that's how I ensure that every encounter with me makes people feel seen, by God. And so that is one of the, those are two of the things I would say. I mean, I spend a lot of time writing. I read a lot. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm constantly learning. I'm interested in growth. I have a growth mindset. And so the things I do to just relax, I give myself a maximum of 1 hour a day on all my social media platforms. So, once 1 hour is done, everything blacks out or grays out on my phone. So I don't spend a lot of time, just mindlessly, scrolling through, because again, a lot of what you see on social media, believe it or not, programs your unconscious or your subconscious mind. And so if you're not intentional about what you are ingesting, you then cannot be intentional about what is actually coming out out of you. And so those are some of the things. I mean, exercise, writing, reading, and meditation.
Thank you. I think you just said something that most of us, it's not as if we're not aware of it. We take it for granted. But hearing it from somebody who is super busy and at the same time is productive, I think it goes a long way to point to that wisdom of rest. Take care of yourself, take care of this body, take care of this temple, because from it flows the issues of life and what have you. Guys, we'll be talking with Rantiade. You will agree with me. She's soft-spoken, but those words are powerful. When they hit you so well, and they hit you so well. Now, before I let her go, there's something she does. If you follow her on her IG page, and the way she says it and ends it, it doesn't leave you. So I want her to do it. I don't know if she has done it today already, but I know she has something for us today. So I will allow Rantiade to do her thing, then we'll call it a day. You have the floor.
Greetings, fam. Greetings, fam. Yeah. So,
yes.
So on my way to, right before I started this interview, actually, I was having lunch with a friend of mine earlier, and she had mentioned the fact that body no be firewood, right? And again, I think that goes, to the fact that we even though we're divine, we recognize our humanity as well. And so it's important that you're taking care of your mind, your soul, and your body, because that is essentially what informs the power in which you show up into the world. So make sure you're doing that, okay? Those are my thoughts of the day. Do with them as you will. Blessings.
I love how she says that, and I always go back to do with it. I will, and honestly.
As you will. Now you know.
Yes. Now you know.
Now you know. Take on. You want to take on. You know why? You know. Oh, Barry.
Thank you so much, guys. It's been an amazing time with Rantiade, and you know how we do it on the show. This is the space where we come in to lean on one another's experience to forge a positive path. And today, we just have this bolt of energy from her, and honestly, there's this positivity all around. I wish I could keep her for, ever, but she has a lot to do, and I have to let her go till I come your way again. You know how we say it on the show? Bye for now. Rantiade.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Awesome time it has been with you on the World Cafe podcast today. Thank you for being there. You can catch me up on my social media handles, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, all at Amachree Isoboye. Also, you can get copies of my books, A Cocktail of Words, The Color of Words by H.R. Notebook, and Hocus Focus on God on Amazon and
Roving Heights online bookstores. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel at the same address at Amachree Isoboye. I love to hear from you and how this podcast has impacted you. You can leave me a message at my email address, amachreegaribaldi@gmail.com. That is AMACHREEGARIBALDI. Yes, till I come your way again. Bye for now.